surprised. I was. I know. It's like Aubrey took the job because she wanted to work with you, and I could tell she was excited.
With Agatha all along. Please join me in welcoming tonight's guest who brought this amazing show to life. We have key makeup artist Erin LeBre. Also joining us is hair department head Cindy Wells. Costume designer Selon. Jobs, but they include creator, showrunner, director, executive producer Schaeffer. And just everybody's favorite everything. Please welcome Kathryn Hahn. Everywhere you go, like you're going to Starbucks and everybody leaves stuff and they're saying, it's her! Yeah. It's a client.
Yeah. It's very sweet.
I knew it. Well, again, congratulations on a fantastic series. Before we get into it, I actually love to go back to the very beginning. And I always ask people, what was your first job in this business? The first thing you wrote, the first thing that, you didn't pick up on, whether you, want people to look at that credit or not.
Well, in that case. Probably something in the world of a Christmas movie for Lifetime, or one of those fun ones that's probably still played to this day. It's been about almost 20 years, and I'm pretty sure they'll rerun it every once in a while.
And I'm sure I've seen it.
And sadly, I think a lot of people have.
An unknown band music video. Up in the mountains of Paso Robles.
Did they remain unknown?
I'm sorry.
Did they remain unknown, this band?
The first costume I ever designed and built was, I was a human-sized green bell pepper. And I wore it in the parade in my hometown.
Why?
It's a great costume.
I was a set PA in New York on a Jenny McCarthy movie.
This is such an awesome question. I don't even know any of you guys know the answers. I was on a show in Cleveland, Ohio called Hickory Hideout. And it was it was me and two puppets, Nutso and Shirley Swirly, and it was shot at our local NBC affiliate. And we would go ask no an owl, just questions about like it was an owl, so we would knock on the tree and called Hickory Hideout. So anyway,
If you really do know about this and you have video, put it online immediately.
amazing.
and so was Shirley.
Well, again, congratulations on a fantastic series. And I'm also beginning with Jack because you had such success creating and showrunning Wanda, but I don't think the plan was always to spin off that and grow series. Did that ever come about as a response to the character?
100%. Yeah, no, it was not the plan at all. I mean, one of it was a surprise kind of in every way. Yeah, it was sort of like a rocket that was launched that we were like hanging on to, and which was so thrilling. And then I was invited back to develop things for Marvel, and we weren't really sure like, it was going to be a TV show, but what it was gonna be was kind of a question, and, everything I developed involved Agatha. Like, it would be like, oh, yeah, you're here, and then, whoops, here was Agatha. And so Kevin at Kanye at one point was like, should we focus on the show about her? And I was like, yes, sir.
Kathryn, at what point did they sort of tell you they were developing this, and what was your response?
I mean, it was, I guess it was the summer after we aired. I was shooting last night and I think we were, it was so fun. But then he calls, Louis Zeta from Marvel called to tell me, and I mean, this was, like you said, not in the, I had no idea that this, I was hoping that we would work together on something. Yes, but this was beyond anything I could possibly imagine.
I mean, going back to the beginning, when you were originally approached about WandaVision, what appealed to you about the character?
Oh, she's a witch!
Yeah! Like conjuring?
Yes, I mean, of course, I feel like it's all led to this. I feel like a lot of us can identify with that.
Okay, who here is trying to cast a spell? It worked. Just curious, why do you think this human response is so strongly to his character? I have my own theories, but.
Is that to me?
Yeah, well,
I like chat. I mean, so we wrote her as needing to sort of fit the trope of the nosy neighbor, like the sort of Mrs. Roper and like that sort of, Rhoda thing, which everyone falls in love with that character already. But then there was gonna be this big reveal that she was a centuries old witch with like all this power and it was like all sort of teeth and hair and Kathryn obviously is the lone performer who can occupy both spaces with equal verve, and I just thought, I think that it was irresistible to people, and then of course she had her own bop.
Yeah.
So I think that really helped.
And then you gave her another one like in Honey all day. Oh my gosh.
Also, she's just written so, I mean, in the comics, she really doesn't, it's hard to like thread that hardness through the comics, and so the way that she was written is so delicious and so perfect, and also just weirdly, like, I feel like so much of my life has been playing those best friend parts or the neighbor parts, so it really, that felt like very natural. So to be able then to have that was just, couldn't believe that it was happening.
Were you surprised that people were rooting for her to be this anti-heroine? Because I mean, she didn't kill a dog. No, we're still on her side.
I love that point. Yeah. In screenwriting, they're like, this is how, oh my gosh, I see a boner t-shirt.
No, you guys, pitch a tent is all objection.
Especially Megatron.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But yes, yeah.
So impressed.
We were talking about just this idea that you did the opposite of saving the cat. You killed the
Oh,
dog.
yes. That you were like, that's how you make a villain, is you have to kill an animal, and we were like, challenge accepted.
Although in fairness, and you learned how to do it.
Yes, you can blame everything on Mr. Boner.
This show is so many things at once. It's so funny and poignant as a musical in this episode. And I really love that in this episode in particular, you see these characters come together, and much like the WandaVision, you surround yourself with these wonderful supporting characters. I mean, where did you even begin? Did you have like this pipe dream? I want to work with Patty alone, and then next thing you know, she's there.
I mean, doesn't everyone, like, are we all Patty came to the project quite late, and I still can't believe it happened at all. We wanted to create a coven for Agatha because it was kind of the earliest idea that would sort of give us the longest runway for her character, was to put her in a situation where she had to like involve herself in sisterhood. And so we yeah, we set about sort of pulling characters from the comics and then making them our own, and then casting really exciting talent. And I think Patty was the last. I think she was the last to be cast because she was like on the list, but I don't even think anyone talked to her because we were like, well, Patty Mahomes not going to come and do a live show. And she did.
I thought you were joking. I was so stunned. Yeah, we were all in.
Were you at all intimidated to stand in front of 3-time Tony winner?
It's a good luck.
I think because it was Patty LaMone, it was kind of like, oh, you know what, no one can, I mean, there's nothing we can do but just say it. She's amazing.
So fantastic. I want to ask you, Arson's about creating the looks of these characters. Really. And what were some of those initial conversations you had with that about, how you wanted the show to look? In fact, I mean, did you realize you were going to be creating basically new looks for every access?
That we didn't know.
That we did know, that we did know. But it was very interesting to actually be in that process, because it would start little with just me and, unfortunately, who's not here, Vasilia, so Erin. We would start small, and then we'd incorporate Daniel, and then we'd incorporate Jack, and of course Kathryn's always on board with everything. So it just sort of magnified from there,
What was, was there anything that you were concerned about, like taking Kathryn Green, for example, the way you wish? Was that something that you looked at as a challenge, like it would be fun, or was that a day on college you sort of dreaded?
I would say actually the green paint thankfully came from our special effects makeup artist. So we were actually very relieved to not have to do that ourselves. Because there's always a lot of concern with transferring onto the beautiful wardrobe. Will it stay? Will it, what's it gonna do throughout the day? They came up with a perfect combination of a green paint that stayed well and endured, any movements and all that kind of stuff.
It was special because this team had been together since WandaVision, so they really, I feel like Agatha is kind of such a group effort. Like I feel, I don't know, it's making me cry, because there's so much, there's so much art in that creation, and I couldn't do it without, she wouldn't exist without any of it.
Well, and it feels like a little bit we were sort of like babies on one vision, and then on Agatha we were spread out. I'm gonna make Daniel tell about his pitch, because he won the job with like his first 4 sentences of his pitch. Will you talk about what you told us?
Yes, of course. I read Jack's outline, and it was very thorough. Like there was so much of the show that we see now wasn't in the original outline, which is wild. If any of you are writers, you understand how crazy that is. And also Kathryn's voice was just right there. And I so deeply related to the character of Teen and Billy, because I'm a queer person, and I grew up, raised by a bunch of witchy artist women. I work in the costume department, and I collaborate with women all day long, in and out, and that is my coven. And so I was like, oh, I know exactly what this kid went through and is going through, and I can tell this story down to every detail. And they were just like, you were playing your best
Oh my God, yeah, it was Mary Lovatos and me, and he said all of that, and I was like, he's fired. Yeah, I know. And then he proceeded to show us the lookbook and his concepts, which you should talk about, but we were just like, yeah, we can move on because we know that's what's happening.
Yeah, actually, the Agatha's Code, which is a vehicle.
Move to that.
The code was the first thing that I designed. And I came to my initial pitch meeting with that idea, because I was like, she needs to have something that she can use as a tool that is both protective and also has flair and is like a tailored garment that gives the mask and the skirt is the femme, and it needs to be all of the complexities that Agatha is, and it also needs to be something that we would believe she would put on to go on this journey, even though she knows it's a sham. She expects it to be a sham. So it was like it had all these requirements, and that garment sort of was like the first thing that I shut my eyes and it just swam right in. And it took a minute to figure it out, although we had an incredible coven of witches that did that.
And in your initial lookbook, my memory is there were women in wartime wearing men's uniforms, right?
Yeah, there was women, exactly. Women in
Femme
period,
mask, the
yeah.
utility of it, it was so hot. Inside.
Be honest, did you keep the cup?
No, I have not been offered the coat. Love that Anna Boner t-shirt.
Oh yeah, we went really hard on this show because I think I was proving something to myself, my team was proving something to me, we were kind of proving
We had so
something.
much to prove.
And so I was like, we must design a complicated lining that no one might ever see. It's like if Kathryn is the only one that will see it, that will be worth it. And that is true. I believe that as a costume designer. It's like you have to do things that are only for the cast and crew, and there's other things that probably are not.
But you made spells in the clothes. You felt it. There were, in the lining, we talked about her being a crow, having that image, of the shoulders, and the lining of it is literally like a murder of crows, if you look at it, and then they fall into these rooms. It's like stuff you just don't even, the tarot cards on Lilia's jacket that end up foreshadowing, the detail, also Lady Death's Rio to death, on this show.
Cindy, what are some of your biggest challenges? Because you're not just creating this character, you're doing it in different time periods, and different characters are they become. Where do you even start?
Yeah, I don't even know. you kind of jump in, you know the character, and you know where they want to be, and then sometimes you just have to throw it at them, and then they sort of embody it. It's a little more complicated. It's hard to explain. Because it's sort of like work in progress. You're like, okay, well, what about this? Are we kind of mirroring this? Or no, that's not. She wouldn't do that. Or, it's very much
It's like a collaboration with the actors.
huge collaboration.
Yeah. Versus one, it's different here, it's almost like we don't have to finish sentences, because we're we know exactly.
Yeah. I can look at something and be like, no, she's not gonna go for it. It's not where the character is, it's not what she would do, and then she would say something to me and I'm like, yes, that's what I was thinking. Right.
What was the hardest one for you?
I'm gonna say the road. The road. There was, tons of extensions in there and trying to make it look big, but yet not, and small in areas, because we didn't want to mimic the Selon 7 too much in the shape, and then we had to stay away from Lilia's hair. So it was a little more challenging.
She got some money.
And she got so,
What did you call it? The stages of, it would be what did you call it? It was what
degradation.
I have a particular kink about making women dirtier and dirtier.
Yes! I see that.
Stronger and almost extra.
Erin, what were some of the bigger challenges that you had to face?
The road.
I think
actually, because we started everybody, when they appeared on the road, they started in their ultimate witch look. So they appear in their most powerful forms, you know. And then as the story goes on, and they go through their trials, and they go through things on the road as well, they get bedraggled. And we had to remember kind of where they left off and where we picked them back up once they entered and left a trial. So there was a little bit of, just a lot of continuity to kind of keep track of as far as, you know, how much dirt was on them before, and we're coming back to that dirt, but now we're going even dirtier. Now I know why. It's all but no, we did, that also gives a lot of really fun opportunities to play with the looks. Sashir, I think I made like 3 different sets of nails for Sashir.
The nail journey was so spectacular. Well, and because, I mean, we joke about the bedraggle, but it really, you know, the looks that they all show up in are, like, in a way, fraudulent. Like, it's what these women are projecting about themselves. There's some truth to it, but it's, they have to go through these trials and go through their arcs. And it was, I think it was Sashir's idea to, like, she wanted the acrylics, but then the idea of breaking the acrylics down over the course of the journey. I loved watching that. And like, there's so much thought put into the phases of it. It's one of my favorite.
Wait, can we talk about makeup? Can we talk about smearing the...
You want to talk about the mud?
Pudding.
Putting out of the bag.
Chocolate pudding all over my face.
Yes, when we saw the vats that the effects department was making, the vats of the blood that was going to be used on the road that the witches get thrown into by Billy. You know, I stared at it and I said, well, they're going to be in these makeup looks for about 3 days, and it's going to be everywhere. So I don't want to run the risk of it going in the mouth or in the eye or anything like that. Granted, it wasn't like the worst chemical makeup, but still. So I kept staring at it, and I finally went, chocolate pudding. I just like chocolate pudding. And so we sent somebody out and bought as much chocolate pudding at the local Walmart that we could get our hands on, and mixed it until we were happy with the way it looked. And apologized to all the actors. And I said, no, how are your chocolate pudding?
And it was a surprising match. It matched the bats perfectly.
It really did. That was the best part about it, actually. And this is great.
Would it be okay to talk about the day that we had to do all the changes in that one day?
Well, nice to have you.
Yeah.
Jack was directing, which is the best. So originally, it was an early idea that we would see Agatha cycle through her looks. That in coming out of the spell, that she would cycle through all of them and end up naked. Once again, back to my case. But this was prior to our commitment that we were going to take the show practical. So originally, it was going to be a whole CG thing, and it was going to swirl around her. It was very exciting. And then we decided we were really going to commit to the show as practical. It was our idea that we would lean practical, and then Kevin Feige got a hold of it and was like, it's all practical. Oh no. So then we had to do the transformation, and it was all in one day.
Wow.
And you know, the AV department, bless them, I think they were doubtful.
Yeah.
And the response from this team was, oh, really? And so the
Challenge.
yeah. And so at first it started with timing out the looks, right? And we didn't do it chronologically because it was about the time. Yeah, we will all talk about this.
Well, I remember Cindy and V like really calculating, we had to calculate to the minute how long it took to change between each hair makeup change. And from there, the costumes actually were a little bit easier. So we prioritized the hair makeup change, and so we did it in order based on that.
There's lined up nails.
Well, and with the other piece of the wardrobe is, so while she was changing over, I would use a body double. And so we had to have like doubles for
That's right.
the
There's like
body
one
double.
moment when there's
With
the
the
legs.
legs, yeah. And we did some hand stuff and insert stuff. So that was the other thing, is the scheduling of it was like, what can I shoot when we don't have our number one? She's the only one in the scene. So it was, yeah.
But it was like NASCAR pit.
I love that. I was so gonna get like my tires scraped.
But it was like an old school or something.
It's like, yeah.
So it was like we were in this classroom and how like took over this space. It was the most fun day. It felt like we were doing theater, like like we had fast changes. Like it was so fun, and we hadn't really had a chance to like revisit those looks since WandaVision. So it all felt very like, cannot believe we're freaking doing this in this context with all of this road ahead of us. It was a pretty special day. We all tried. We got it. Yeah, we all got
Beginning, so we really like just, visiting this whole show, and we got to do it, early on, which was really fun to sort of set the tone and explode out of it.
And I think it really helped establish the teamwork between the departments as well, because Kathryn, you were amazing, you would just walk in and freeze. And then, the rest of us, I was on nails, Vasilios was doing Captain's makeup, Cindy was on hair, Daniel was, it really helped us in a way actually kind of get our own dance down as to how we manage things sometimes on the fly if we had to. So it was like, we need the lips.
Now that you've got these sort of changes down, what you really need to do is go Saturday Night Live.
How many
Listen, from this room to Lauren's ears.
Anyone have connection voters? I want to talk some more about this amazing cast, because the camaraderie between you all is so fantastic. You're really seeing all in this place here. Was it as fun as, it looks, especially like I'm thinking specifically, I thought you were going to say the challenging scene was, when they all started looking like they had plastic surgery. I imagine they're just sitting there and laughing.
I mean, what's interesting about this is because, Agatha is a lone witch. So I spent a lot of time in this kind of like solitary or little stuff, but it was very difficult to do for Kathryn because also each one of these actors is like a tight, like, it was like, there were feelings like we were just giants, like each one of them, of this group is like so incredibly powerful and specific. So it just made coming to work every day like just so heightened and like vibrating because we knew we were going to be just challenged by each other. And it was, I worship every member of this cast. I just think they're extraordinary.
Did you know that she and Audrey were going to have such amazing chemistry?
Let's go!
I didn't know the extent of it. I was surprised. I was. I know, it's like Audrey took the job because she wanted to work with you. And I could tell she was excited. But then that first day, I was like, oh, I don't have to do anything. I can leave. And it was so amazing. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we didn't really talk about it. It was just, we're friends. Like we did Parks and Rec. We really but we didn't really, we kind of passed each other in the hallways in that show. We didn't really have anything. So this was like, I think it was because of that history, but because we didn't really talk about this really, it just kind of was there. Yeah, and just kept getting more and more like, it was really fun to be a part of that.
I mean, I remember like watching it on monitor, and I was like, oh, cool, we're not even going to put the two of them on camera together. Who was the fight? I think maybe we shot that really earlier. Yeah, and I was like, oh. There's choices being made. There's an audience for this.
Right here!
I remember, this is an episode where we have like the full-on musical number. We got a demon, we got like fire, and then I remember seeing an early cut, and everybody's like, oh, it's just about two ladies who almost kissed. That's the synopsis.
You play so many iconic roles, but Agatha really does strike a certain chord with people. What is it like, what do people come up and want to say to you or talk to you about,
Well, it's funny, I was laughing at the beginning, because usually people are like, do we go to high school together? Like, sit around. But, I am so in love with Agatha. I love her, and I want to protect her so fiercely. And she also, like, intimidates me, and she's like, there's parts of her that are so aspirational and kind of scary, which I just love her so much. So, I don't know, when I hear about it, it's always in the context, I think, of just being, there's not good or bad.
Yeah.
Like, I think people like respond to that, like that line, amazing line, can't be bad or good at the same time. It's like, kind of can be. I think that it's kind of that like messy middle that maybe people respond to, and also, she's funny.
Yeah.
Thanks to this amazing writer. So like, I think that is also helpful. I love her.
Did you have a favorite look out of all of these they created for you?
I mean, I think that jacket, the road coat, is still, and putting that on for the first time with everybody that had made it, put their hands on it, came out to see their work, but it was one of the most magical moments I've had as a performer. There are many on this show.
And you pull up 70s. Really nice.
Oh,
For each of you, do you have a favorite era or moment?
There are so many. It's really hard to pick. I think I really liked getting to finally go to the sort of dark, sinister place that Lady Death inhabits in the battle in episode 8, or when we revealed her final form. The show was just a dream job for me. It was such a gift. It was like I was being handed I was like, this is the last job I ever had. It's okay, because I got to do every single thing I ever wanted. The leather Lady Death sort of like evil Erte 20s cocoon situation was really did it for me.
I think it goes to Agatha.
I love Agatha. Yeah.
Because it was so,
God.
it was like almost like so unknown. We weren't sure how it was all going to piece together, and well, Kathryn is amazing to work with as a hairdresser. Please, you put a wig on her, and she embodies the character instantaneously. And
I love the wig.
So it was really fun to finally set it on her, and it just, wow, she just became.
It gives you hope when you're done. You get great hair.
I can't wait for my hair to be like, if I could, I would let it. I love it so much. I love that wig, was so stunning.
It was fantastic. Thank you, Natasha Lega, for that beautiful wig.
Erin?
I'm kind of the same as Daniel, where I think
We enjoyed creating looks for every time period, every part of the road. It was, as far as makeup goes, it was a dream as well. I mean, truly, I was just saying this to Jack upstairs, where it was probably one of the hardest challenges to wrap your brains around a new look, as quickly as we did, but it was also a make our dream, because we did as many things as we could pull out of the bag on a daily basis, and again, went from nails to foot dirt to glitter to you name it. So time period wise, I honestly don't know. I think the original witch looks were one of my favorite, because we really helped them to bring those characters to life and give them their own identities through makeup. Timing with hair, timing with costume. I think was the favorite part, was giving them their own identities with their own looks. But that being said, Death was also one of my favorite looks too. I will say. I used black glitter.
I need to add on Kathryn in the 1940s.
Yes.
One of those, that was another
so high by, tomorrow we're having two best series. And I know that you said that you're not necessarily a comic book person or a superhero person, but why do you think you've been able to tell these stories in a way that transcends all that?
I don't know. I mean, I've always been a genre person. I love allegory, and these stories are, for me, it's a conversation about women and power. And so it's always I take a moment and say hi to this is a book of Honey who plays Extra in episode 4 anyway, I don't remember what I was saying.
Well, yeah, everyone is going to see it actually have to get to another event, so I really appreciate it. I want to remind everyone that all the episodes are streaming on Disney Plus. You watch them again and again, which is really fun as you learn from this one. You pick up so many
Easter eggs.
so many hidden secrets.
I know. Sorry, but so many times now, even after doing it, there's these things that I'm picking up on that I didn't even realize were embedded in it. Like I just found out about the bell. That Nikki steals the bell. No!
Wait, explain to people what
The bell that Agatha uses in episode 2 that she brings, episode 2 she brings to the coven is the bell that Nikki steals.
That Nikki steals.
In the
You
episode.
all know it.
Who told you? Did you on Reddit or something?
She's on Reddit. I'm on Reddit all the time.
I can't even get you on Instagram. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Mother Hahn!
My daughter finally broke me.
Again, thank you all so much for your curiosity. Stay seated.